Good afternoon. Welcome to During the Hour, an RPG design vlog about making a PBTA game about smooching a cowboy. My name is Sydney Chris. I am the Lost Dog $500 reward, no questions asked, of the RPG community. And I planned this for 10 a.m. my time, thinking it would give me an excellent sleep in, and then worked until about 5 a.m. yesterday morning. So, I'm doing well. I'm getting there. I'm absolutely kicking it out. Today, we're going to spend about an hour and a half on functional basic move design. I had a chat to Jesse Ross of Matches and Paper Dolls fame, of Girl Underground fame, also the guy who did the art for my Dogs in the Vineyard town for Codex. You know, I've worked together on a lot of stuff, actually, and I'm better for it. I was having a chat to him, and I decided that, well, we learnt together that this thing needs a playtest like pretty soon. It's there's a lot of decisions that need to be made about how stats are going to happen and stuff like that. But really, I need to just A/B playtest and just get it on the table. So that's our goal today: is to basically get as many moves done as we can, which is good because we have a start, and now we just need to make them functional. So here we go. Let me screen share to thou our maybe a bit bigger. Can I do it a bit bigger? No, I can only go up to, yeah, this will work. So these are the moves that we've kind of got about like our cowboy, cowgirl, cow NB. Outlaw has these like really conflict generating moves about locking eyes on people, demanding action with threats, enacting violence, that sort of stuff. So let's do one. Where do we want to start? What move kind of exemplifies, not even exemplifies, but just is something that we can do? Okay, one thing I've done is I have put moves that they're like in here. So okay, I reckon these moves, I reckon the two probing moves are going to be our two most different ones. That's where we're going to start. So I've got Reach Out Night Witches, and we've got the other one doesn't have one, but it's kind of more like a failure on home fronts, or a lower, or sorry, a high result on home fronts 1. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to go to our Google Doc. We're going to go right to the bottom, just above the MC moves. We're going to hit a thing. We're going to say basic moves. Now, these moves are going to have the standard PBTA structure. So they're just going to say like, okay, we can talk about how basic moves are done again, which we did in like episode 2 or 3 or something like that. But basically, the idea is fictional trigger, then mechanical impact, then fictional impact after that. So let's screen share over, and we'll do it together. So it's gonna be so fun to flick back and forth because we all know how much the two Google formats play together. Okay, so this move, actually, let's do this. So it goes fictional trigger, mechanical interaction, fictional result, mechanical result. I wonder if there's something to like maybe putting those in the middle together. I want to just have a look at that. Mechanical interaction, mechanical result. Maybe I want to have a look at that. Let's see. Because this feels more like how PBT actually plays, but this is how all the moves are written. We can probably talk about that once we've got some on paper. The first one is called, this is going to be a mess. I want to start with the outlaw. The outlaw is called eyeball, and it's when you lock your eyes on them. So it's this really sort of scene is Clyde's in the bar. He says, I want to know more about that person. I want to interrogate the fiction about this particular person. How do I do that? And we say you do that by putting yourself in a position where they might think that you are being confrontational. So that's why that's what this move's all about, right? That's the core of it. So eyeball. When you stare someone down to figure them out. Boy, that's bad, but whatever. It's functional. It's functional, right? When you stare someone down to figure them out, roll plus whatever, right? Plus wild. I'm just using that as placeholder. Roll plus wild. That's all that needs, I think. On a let's go success first, right? So on a, what are we going to say? 8 to 10? No, 7 to, let's say 7 to 9 for now. Which is going to be our full success because of how we're going to do the, this is going to have to change, isn't it? No, it's not. I just have to change. That's okay. Which is going to be our full, on a full success. Let's just say that. You get, so I've done this over here with like these things. So benefits, you get mission pool and you get fictional stuff, right? Cool. On a full success, you may ask one of the questions below and take one mission pool, or you may ask any question you like. So the thing about this that makes me happy is that I really like ones that give players the opportunity to ask any question they like, but I also do want to push them towards certain things. So what I think is that if you ask one of the questions below, you'll take mission pool. But if you want to ask just any question you like, then you can do that. On a partial success, success cost, you may ask one of these questions and they'll know what you're thinking about them. What's the but they'll notice your interest, is the way it's put. Okay, so let's talk about elegance quickly. Elegance dictates that these two moves should only have this one move should only have a single list of questions. That the questions should be the questions shouldn't change, just the context. And the example for that is when you miss on Apocalypse World's reader situation, the questions don't change. It just says prepare for the worst, which has its benefits and has its problems. The biggest benefit is that the move is easier to grok and takes up less space. It's the same move no matter what result you get. So this is where I think that ask one of the questions below and take a mission pool thing might work, in that we just have these questions that are inherently confrontational, and we say to the player, you can be a little bit confrontational. You can ask one of the confrontational questions, or you can ask any question you like. But if you ask one of the confrontational ones, I'll reward you and I'll make your life easier, right? So we're going to look at, I'm going to quickly bring up some home front stuff, which is in a Google Doc as well. Home front August primer. Just regarding that move with the success with cost. Here on our benefits cost things, we've just said just fiction. Like, we just want it to fictionally cause conflict. We don't want to have it like harm or markets, which is why we've written it the way that we have of they'll notice your interest. This is our fictional cost. So fill them out. Okay. So these are a little bit too intimate for the kind of moves that I want, but this is the sort of stuff that I want, right? How do you show me what you're afraid? How do you show me what's troubling you? That sort of stuff. I actually wrote in here. I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah, I did. So ask one of these questions. So questions are, what about them is vulnerable to me? How far are they willing to go right now? What will I risk if I kill them where they stand? Who is my biggest threat right here? Now, this is the kind of move that usually has one that's like, what's my best way out, way in, through, right? This one normally comes up in PBTA, read a person, read a situation things. And this is kind of both. Just going to bring up, which one do I want to do? I think I want to do Apocalypse World 2E because it's roughly hits the same sort of conflict points as this. So let's bring that up, find our basic moves, and have a look at what they're doing. So read a situated person. So this isn't a bad one. This is not a bad one. This is not a bad one. What's my enemy's true position and who's in control here? See these all get a little bit intimate, but I will say, like, what does your character intend to do is probably one that we can work on. How can I get your character to do this? One we can't have because it's about this helps you avoid violence. We don't want to do that. So yeah, so there's normally this kind of what's my best escape route, way in, way past thing. But I think what we want instead is like, what's my best way, like, to create violence, kind of thing, right? That's what this is kind of going to be asking. So what's my, if we just said like way in, what's my best way in? But that could then come out to, yeah. What about them is the other thing too is we want this list of questions is allowed to be fairly restrictive because we have put this caveat in. We have put you may ask any question you like in there, which means we've got some opportunities. We could even put in here if we wanted, like mark corruption, ask any question you like. But I think that's going to throw the. I don't think I want this, which is why it's in the brackets at the moment. But it's an option, so let's put it there at least. What about them is vulnerable to me? How far are they willing to go right now? What will I risk if I kill them where they stand? Who's my biggest threat right here? Okay, in really early Homefront stuff, I had questions like this. And I wonder if I have any of my early Homefront stuff lying around. Might even be in a Google Doc under like Untitled Civilian War Game. Oh man, see, this is why I have people watching this because they are so much better at this than me. How can I take the upper hand? How can I take the upper hand is really good. So session 2. Home front moves might be in there. That one. Wow, I have made just so many copies of this. I'm so bad at Okay, I do have a read the situation one. I do have a fill in that one. Read a situation. See the issue. So, group soliloquy. I really. I don't think I've met you before, but absolute pleasure. And Brendan, I don't think I've seen you here before either. But okay. Before I go on, the issue with what do they want most right now is what do they want most right now becomes a move about or becomes a step towards avoiding violence, and that's not what this move is designed to do. What do they want most right now is a really good question to keep in mind for the partner's move, because the partner is going to be like, the partner is going to be the one who's finding out like what people want, but doesn't have the moves to like diffuse situations if they roll through. So I'm really glad we got you here for the first streams. It's been super useful already. So our outlaw, this is from Homefront, right? This is Homefront's reader situation. And our higher results, things like what's going to cost us, who shares our interest in this, what crucial detail have we noticed too late. This is not a bad one. What do I notice too late? Yeah. So the way I want to think about these is these are all questions that move toward, if not violent, certainly confrontation. And oh yes, see, this is I haven't played Masks. I'm really unfamiliar with it. That's a really good idea because Masks is all about that thing. There's bound to be something in here. Okay, basic moves. Where is this from? Which move, Brandon, is this? This how can I piss them off move from line from? Might be a playbook move. Might be. Is there a Masks playbook that's pretty much just the outlaw? Oh man, okay. This is gonna be so good. Okay, cool. How can I best infuriate or provoke? Okay, really good. Really good. So this character, besides this way past thing, because the answer to this is always going to be shoot them, right? That's how the outlaw kind of is empowered around the world, and not what I kind of want. So, but this is a really 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 good idea. So, how can I really piss them off? What would really piss them off? Which is basically a version of what instead of the apocalypse world. What do you want me to do? What do you wish I'd do? It's the opposite of that, right? So maybe if we invert some of those, there could be something there. Like because these are about confrontation, we could do the basic move here is your character telling the truth. We could do what are they lying to me about? The basic move is what are they really feeling? We could do like, what are they trying to show me they're feeling? I don't know. I don't like it, but it's down on paper now, and we can remove it in a sec. What are they willing to die for? Fuck, that's good. That's good. So I had what will I risk if I kill them where they stand? And I think that what are they willing to die for is really good as well. Because I think the question is like, instead of kill them where they stand, it might be what will I risk if I draw on them right now? Okay. This is really good. Wow. Okay. No, it's because this is okay. This is where I fucked up, and you are, Brendan. You've pointed it out to me. It's not what are they lying to me about. It's not. It's what lie have they told me. It's not. Okay. What are you lying to me about? Lets me figure you out in such a way that I can bypass that lie. Pointing out that something is a lie does nothing except creates conflict. There's such a big difference between knowing the truth and knowing that someone lied to you. And that is okay. The partner gets to ask, what is the truth of this situation? What are they lying to me about? The outlaw asks, what that they've told me is a lie. Okay, let's knock this down to maybe, wow, confrontation. You know what? Let's knock this down to 5 or 6 questions now, and make make 2 lists. Basically, make a list of questions I do want and don't want. So, what about them is vulnerable to me? Is basically how can I take the upper hand? That's the same move. Oh, interesting. How will their death glorify me? I don't think it's about. Oh, but it is. Some of the characters are about glory. That might be a playbook move. That might be a. How will their death glorify me? Fame-related playbook. A little bit off tone for too many of the ways that I want this character to go. So how can I take the upper hand? How far are they willing to go right now? How can I piss them off? What lie have they told me? What are they trying to show me they're feeling? I don't like it. Can fuck it up. It's basically what lie have they told me. What will I risk if I draw on them right now? What are they willing to die for? What are they willing to die for is a much, much better version of that question. Who is my biggest threat right here? I think this is one I want the GM to kind of just give someone. So I probably have room for one more question if I want it, which might be this one. What's my best way out, way through? Which is like, here's the thing. My best way out is always to shoot people. It's not good. It is the most effective way of getting out, eaten through. How can I see the upper hand? How far are they willing to go right now? How can I really piss them off? What would piss them off? No, it's got to be how can I, for sure. Okay. What are they willing to die for? This could be 2 questions, maybe. I like the idea of like, what's to stop me killing them right now being a question, right? But like, that's not. This is a really intense move to start with. I'm so glad we're going to do the partners one after this just to balance it out. Okay, we've got. You know what? We said 5 or 6. Let's leave it at 5. Let's move on to the partner. Okay, this is really good because all of those, especially, holy shit, can you imagine a success with cost? You may ask one of these questions, but they'll notice your interest. And you ask, how can I really piss them off? And they're like, oh, they know that you know. Ooh, juicy fun. Juicy fun. Okay. So the partner move. The partner move is called partner's fiction interrogation is called okay, I'm calling it reach out. I have too many things open now. I kind of don't dig it as reach out. You absolutely should stream your mechanics side work. It's not only is it so great to get other people's input, it keeps me going. It keeps me honest. I would have already given up on this. I'm so tired. I would have stayed in bed. But I made promises to y'all. So, partner. The partner's move is very, very similar, right? So, let's do this and go. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. Okay, so I did this for a while, but what I found is that players actually have problems with a move that is also fictionally triggered like this. So what I found is more effective is the August Homefront Primer was, where it's when you eyeball them, and you go stare them down, lock eyes, or otherwise know you're checking them out. Then roll with them. And that players kind of have an easier time separating the fictional trigger from the fun name. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, Group Silica, that the open questions part, fewer options pushes them more towards this, which I don't mind. Both are good, right? I don't really mind which one they pick. Anyway, so this is the partners one, and it's called out or something like that, or empathize might be a bit too functional for what the partner is actually going to do. Remember that Bonnie is inherently childish in the way that she interacts with people. Bonnie Parker is able to talk to people and manipulate them and stuff like that, but she's not really empathetic with them. She's very she's still really broken in her relationships, especially in how she idolizes Clyde as the only person that matters. Okay. So reach out and empathize. So this is based on a move called Reach Out from Night Witches, which we have here. When you reach out to someone by letter or in person, reveal a significant new truth and roll the dice. So, when you I think what I really like is that the partner has to talk to them. The outlaw can just stare them down, but the partner has to talk to them. But the partner gets to do it at this inherently non-conflicty level. So when you hold a polite or otherwise, I don't think it really needs to be polite. When you hold a conversation, with someone, and you want to know more, plus one. Yeah. Okay. That's an interesting way of approaching it too. So roll wild. And I think I actually had that in a part of Homefront's really original thing. We'll talk about that in a sec. Roll wild is a bad thing, so I'm just going to put, I guess, cool, but that's not what I actually want it to be. When you hold a conversation with someone and you want to know more, when you probe deeper, hold a conversation with someone with of whom you want to know more. Whom you want to know more than roll plus score. On a full success. Same thing. You may ask one of the questions below take mission pool. You may ask any question you like. Success the cost. You may ask one of these questions on any of your interest. You might correction asking a question you like. Okay, I'm okay with this. I mentioned earlier in the chat that there was something that we wanted to just scrolling through the chat right to see what do they want most right now is close. But I don't think it was the one we wanted. In what way they're most vulnerable is really, really good, actually. In what way are they? Oh, it's really how, isn't it? How are they most vulnerable? Actually, it's really what about them or seems vulnerable to me. Okay. Moves, we're taking this off. Like I said, Night Witches kind of does a different thing with it. Let's have a look at Masks, because Masks is a very good. What are you really planning? What do you want me to do? What do you intend to do? How can I get you to blah? How can I get... Okay. So do I want this? How can I get your character to do something? Interesting. Interesting. I don't think I have done a version of this before. Maybe I did. Oh yeah, cool. Let's take these for now, and see what I've got. Great. What about them seems vulnerable to me? Most of it want on need. We can change this to like, how can maybe I put them in my debt or something like that. That's one from somewhere, I'm sure. What's really going on is an interesting one. This is where we can be like what's the truth of a lie you've told me recently? What's the truth behind a lie you're telling? That's a good one. What do they fear will happen? What are you afraid you'll do? What about them seems vulnerable to me? How can I put them in my debt? What's the truth behind a lie? Oh, sorry, let's sort of phrase this out again. These are questions that the questions inherently steer towards conflict, but it's not confrontation. Questions that reveal existing conflict. These should all be questions that increase the conflict and the stakes of the game, but do it by by showing stuff that's already happening rather than by generating conflict between two characters. You know, you're not wrong, Brandon, actually. You're not wrong about that. Ask any question options. There's... Maybe I'll take... You're not wrong. Okay, so... Who's pulling your strings is a good one. Is always a good one. There's got to be... The thing is... Who's pulling your strings is such a... I'm not sure if that's a... I mean, I'm not sure if that's a great question for the like the theme of the Cowboys thing, right? I guess there is a little bit. It gets me the corrupt mayor thing again. How can I put them in my debt? What about them seems on me? What's the truth behind a lie? They're telling. What are they afraid they'll do? They'll have to do. I mean, The issue is not the phrasing. I love Who's Got Your Bridle very much. The issue I have with it is it's so good. Who's holding your reins? No, it's not. The problem is not the text. The problem is this isn't Urban Shadows. The problem is that this isn't a game about string pulling. This isn't a game about long political conflict. It's a game about immediate conflict. The long-term political conflict is between Bonnie and Clyde themselves, not between them and the NPCs. What about them seems vulnerable is really good. How can I put them in my debt? It's really good. What's the truth behind it? See, how can I put them in my debt might be too open. Maybe not. What's true? Oh, let's have a look at Homefront, because this is a little bit more. I don't actually have Homefront up at the moment. The old one up at the moment. August Homefront Primer. How do I have September, August, September? Okay, sure. I don't know why I have like 3 different versions of things called Homefront Primer. That's weird. Okay, moves. Fill them out. How you showing your most immediate want, need, what you intend to do. That's not bad. How do you show me what you're trying to hide from me is pretty good. How do you show me what's troubling you is also pretty good. What's troubling you? And that's, I've already got what's the truth behind a lie you're telling. What did I do in Homefront? I did. How do you show me what you're trying to hide from? Yeah, cool. What's the truth behind a lie you're telling? Cool. Okay, so here's an idea that was brought up before. In Dungeon World, the Bard has a move that lets them ask you back, which is good. It's called like Open and something, or character sheets it'll be under. It's called like Charming and Open, or Open and Charming and Open. Here's the thing about Bards. Bards suck. But when you speak frankly with someone, you can ask them a question from the list below. They then ask you one back. Okay, so what we could do is maybe, okay, does this need more? You might ask any question you like. Does this need a second clause, or can this be like the North Pole and only have one clause, where you may ask any of the questions below and take one mission pool, or you may ask any of the questions below but they'll notice your interest, and that's it. That's functionally. I kind of like this. I kind of don't. Maybe I could do or mark corruption and you don't get mission pool. But you can ask any question you like. Is something up here maybe? Like, I don't know. We can look into it. This, as we have, what's trouble you? What's trouble you, my friend? What's troubling you right now? What's weighing on your mind while we talk? Okay, what trouble you? Yeah, so that was the thing I was thinking of, is like maybe ask it back. The problem is that I don't know if these are interesting questions for PCs to answer. Maybe they are. And ask one back. Don't know if your interest. Back. Actually, let's leave it out there. I kind of like it. Like, Yeah. These are probably weaker to ask back than the partners one. The manipulative sort of probe ones. All right, well that's cool. Let's call it 2 moves and let's make a third one. What do you reckon? This is pretty good for 45 minutes or 30 minutes, really. Plead your case is good because I pretty much have plead your case written in the way that I want it at the moment. So we can just copy that. So August Homefront Primer. Plead your case. Okay. This is a partner move, so we need to separate these out a bit better. So moves. Plead your case when you plead your case. Make an impassioned plea to their something, greed, or better nature. There you go, greed or better nature. Impassioned, not impassioned. I learned that today. So Barry, regards your suggestion in chat for posterity on a partial. Is there a set of questions you have to ask back that would escalate things between Bonnie and Clyde? Hey Pat, that exists. It's in the partner moves, and I think it should kind of. It's something I've thought about. It's not something I'm willing to do at the moment, but once I have all the pieces, I can maybe have better interacting links between them. But at the moment, I don't think there's that functionality. It would be too hard for me to start by being like, okay, so let's now affect Bonnie and Clyde's relationship while trying to resolve this basic move. That would make it a lot. When you're making passion play to their ego, greed, or better nature, roll plus. Cool. Now, on a full success, they do it except for one. On a partial success, they do it except for 2. And the choices are... They do it when you want them to, otherwise they'll do it when it works for them. They do the best they can, otherwise they'll cut corners. They consider you square, otherwise they'll assume you owe them one. In the Homefront one, I've also got this like sweeten the deal thing. This doesn't have as... Oh, it could be like... it could be like, if you wish, spend 1 hall or like erase 1 hall. Stash, hall stash. To pick an extra option. Maybe there's that. I don't know, but it's there. Yeah. And no, it's super cool, Barry, because I don't actually have that functionality laid out yet. It's just I really need like a primer that I have at the start of this or something that goes like, this is the thing that it does. I don't know. I hope you're having fun. I'm certainly having fun. Okay, that's plead your case done. Basically, it's the it's seduce manipulate, but it's more structured, which I prefer in my seduce manipulates. That's a partner move. What else we got? Let's talk about the intimidation move. Because this is going to be a really good example of how it would be very easy just to copy Go Aggro, but I'm not going to, and I think I'm going to regret that, but it's a decision that I make. So the move is called, I don't know, Intimidate. And it's going to say, when you threaten violence and are willing to carry it through to get what you want, roll +1. On a full success. Now, Here's the thing: they do it, or they in Apocalypse World, it's either they do it or they take the threat. They force the threat that you demanded, right? And I'm not sure if I want they force the threat or if I want it to be like they refuse to do it. And if they refuse, you're welcome to carry through the threat, but you don't have to. I don't know if that's certainly a much less interesting move. That's certainly less restrictive than Apocalypse World and by design. I don't know if I like it. We're gonna basically this is turning into oh right. Okay. So it'd be like it's a choice, right? So we're leaving the choice in the player's hand. So we're saying they refuse to do it, and then we say you either follow through with your threat. It needs to be when you make a clear threat. Either follow through with your threat or mark corruption, right? Corruption is about when you make promises that you can't keep. Corruption is about those moments where you realize you're not cut out to be an outlaw. So you do this really outlawy thing where you pull a gun on someone and you put it to their under their chin and you say, "Listen here, Buck. I'm gonna need you to rustle up your cattle tomorrow, and if you don't, I'm gonna put this bullet right betwixt your eyes." And Buck spits in your face and goes, I got spat on by my first patient the other day. Anyway, Buck spits in your face and it's like, there ain't no way I'm rustling cattle for you, Clyde. And you decide in that moment, am I the outlaw or am I not? And if you are the outlaw, you pull the trigger. And if you're not, you mark corruption. And you begin your step away from this life of crime. And absolutely, Ryan, being nice costs you corruption. And that's the idea. The idea is, as the outlaw, you don't have moves that facilitate you being nice to people. But if you consistently take corruption, you can be nice to people. So I think that's going to be the thing. Or mark corruption. Okay, cool. So that's already a big functional difference from what's called from Go Aggro. Let's bring up Go Aggro because we should. It's not fair to not display it. Go Aggro from Apocalypse World 2E. Force your hand and suck it up. Cave and do what you want. Okay. These are, I don't know about you guys. Every time I play Apocalypse World and someone goes aggro and someone rolls a 7 to 9, it falls apart. The move falls apart because there is some weird disconnect of the metaphor where they're like, okay, I can either give you something you think you want or tell you what you want to hear. Back off calmly, hands where you can sit. Like, it's the issue is, and yes, Ryan, if you ever play with Lauren, she will absolutely outlaw max corruption, 100%. And then she will, okay. So, and then she will have to retire her outlaw. So this is the thing. When you go aggro on someone, make it clear what you want them to do and what you'll do to them. Roll plus hard. Okay. So the issue with Go Aggro and the Go Aggro problem. I'm not even sure if there's 2 G's in it, but sure. It just looks weird like that. No, there are. All right, cool. So the Go Aggro problem is this. There are 2 choices being made. The game frames it as one. The choices are, so here's what happens. There's you, and over here there's me. You roll, you fictionally generate a threat. You fiction threaten me, right? I basically, this sometimes is just implied, but my character refuses. You can always You can always call Lauren out, mate. This is the perfect place to call her out because she can never make these. Y'all should honestly get on this Codex Volume 1 stuff just for Lauren's work. She is amazing. So you threaten me, then my character. Actually, there's another step, which is you make a request. And my character refuses. Then, oops, you fictionally threaten me. Then my character refuses again. And again, these character refuses in brackets are usually kind of implied when it comes to NPCs and stuff like that. Then you roll a move. Then, based on the results of your move, I make a choice. Here's the big thing. Here's the thing that Go Aggro kind of hides from you. Then you make a choice. Now, what happens is that this second choice is not inherently called out in the move. So what it says here is it's because of this. It's because of the way this is written. When you go aggro on someone, make it clear what you want them to do, they have to choose. Do they make you do it, or do they cave and do what you want? This seems to move toward resolution, where here we have then resolution that's actually here and resolution. So what happens is in Go Aggro, someone says, okay, I force your hand and suck it up, which means you shoot me. And the player's like, oh, well, I wasn't actually going to pull the trigger. But unfortunately, that's part of the move. Or I can cave and do what you want. But then this tends to this seems to be like a resolution in itself, but it's not, because there's always this second bit about whether you follow through with the threat. So what happens is when you're playing Apocalypse World, right? Someone will be like, I give you something you think you want or tell you what you want to hear. And they do that. And then the player up here is like, well, I didn't get what I wanted. But now I feel like I can't just shoot you because that would have been this. And you didn't pick that. And it's not like, it feels not fair. But the truth, the reality of the Go Aggro problem is that there are two choices made. There is the choice of what the person who is receiving the violent threat is going to do, and then there is the choice of whether violence will be enacted. And the move is, for whatever reason, and I don't know what it is, and I don't know if there's a better way, and I'm not inherently calling Vincent out, but the move presents to the people with whom I've played it the idea that once the move is resolved within the resolution bounds of the move, you are no longer allowed to deliver the violent threat because they didn't choose the bit where it says force your hand. My way of solving that is, instead of it being force your hand and suck it up, it's they tell you to get fucked. They just say no. They refuse to do it. That is obviously not a resolution, which means that players are going to move towards enacting their violence again. And that's why I want to put in that bit about like either follow through with your threat or mark corruption, right? So on a partial success, what do we want to do? I don't like the Apocalypse World ones of like get the hell out of your way, barricade themselves securely, and back off calmly, hands we can see, sort of thing. I had a version of this in early Homefront, which was called, man, I think it might actually be a little bit too early. Yeah, I somehow have between, yeah, it's been lost between versions, I think. But I had a move called like, man, Ryan, did we play with this one? What was the move called? The one about like standing up for people or something like that, like being a hero or something. Yeah, so Pat, that's the thing is I always say Go aggro leading to seize by force. That's absolutely right. As long as the negotiation of cease by force is active, as long as the two of us, are both committing violence upon each other. That's absolutely what it's for. But if it's one-sided violence in Apocalypse World is suckering someone, which is all about like it just happens. Move on with your game. Ryan, this is in Homefront, and the move was called like tell them how it's going to be or something. Man, I so hope I find this because it's not because it's good because it did get. That can go away. Yeah, that's fine. I think the move was called "Tell Them How It's Going to Be." Yeah, "Become the Wall" was violence, inherent violence option. Okay, so okay, so what do we want on a partial success? What do we want? Let's get away as a team. Let's all get away from Apocalypse World. Let's all get away from this, and let's say when Clyde puts the gun underneath the cattle rustler Buck's chin and rolls a partial success, what are our costs? Now, we have a thing on costs. We need Intimidate to cost marks or corruption. Okay, so what we're not going to have, maybe harm. Maybe there's like on a partial success, you pull a holdout pistol, +1 harm. They want marks or corruption. Okay, so +1 corruption and +1 marks. So corruption is you figuring out that you're not that the outlaw life isn't really working for you. So it could be like they crumble. Oh, what if we do that? What if it's just this, but actually with cost? Oh, okay, this could work. So they pull a holdout pistol, take 1 harm, and either let them go or follow through. They crumble. They crumble like beneath your like mighty violence, right? Yeah, when corruption and marks are as they are in Night Witches, like they're this fictional thing that happens outside of the game. They're problem generating machines outside of the move itself. So like where's the mark? How is there only one move that oh yeah, so your mark in addition to failing, there's here we go, attack run. So you and your fellow airwomen are marked. There's no like fictional trigger for that. It's kind of just like a free thing that you can pick on the bottom of it. What would I call it? What would I call it? What would be the fiction that generates being marked? So marks are things like at the moment, they're things like I get in over my head, I make a promise I can't keep, I do what I want, not what I'm told. They refuse, the scaries. Oh, that's not bad. So marks would be crumble beneath your mighty violence. And this one is like a refuse. It's pretty much the same move, right? It's pretty much the same result. We're just reframing it. They refuse. Like it's basically like they stand resolute and refuse, or refuse. Is it unfazed? and unafraid. Deliver your threat or mark corruption. So this would be, this needs to be that they do it bit, right? So no, do I want them to do it? And you're marked. They do it, but you're sure as hell going to hear about it. Yeah. And you marked on a partial success. And this is the thing. Okay, in Apocalypse World, it's very important that the victim of violence is able to choose the stakes of the violence, right? Because PCs can go aggro on PCs. So it's very, very important that people who have investment in their character have the ability to control how they respond to violence. In Wanted, this move can only be directed. This move can only be directed at NPCs, which means that I don't personally, as an MC, have an investment in whether the character is alive or whatever, right? So I say, so is the partial success their choice or is that your choice? It's got to be their choice, right? Otherwise, on a full success, you'll just choose they do it every time. Unless they do it or it also had a cost. On a full success, they do it. Oh, okay. 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 This is interesting. This is very interesting. How much cost do we want to put on this? Because we could say they do it, but you mark corruption because you're the big violent guy, or they refuse to do it, either follow through with your threat or you're marked. So the only way to get out of this move without a cost is that they refuse to do it and then you kill them. Which sounds kind of fair to me. So this is an interesting way to do it. So, but as you can see, so this would be for me. They choose, or you're marked / corruption. This would be you choose. On a partial success, this one could go either way. I think it's more interesting if they choose. I think. I think this one is more interesting. The issue is that an MC, right? So an MC doesn't have investment. But the MC needs a reason for this. I'm not sure if I want. I'm not sure if I want this to be. I don't know. It's really difficult. I'm not sure if I want how much I want this move to cost someone. I think this is too much cost, and I don't think it's different enough to this. Except that corruption's on success and mark is on the failure. Interesting. Okay. No one's got an opinion on whether. on how much this move should cost to do inherently. That's fine. We're making a decision. We're just going to go with this one. And if it doesn't work, we can change it after playtest. We will make a decision on this at some point. Okay. What else do I have? Act violence draw. So this move, this enact violence move is going to be interesting because I kind of wanted it to fill a different role, but I don't think it's going to. Benefits, fiction benefits, costs, harm, marks, corruption. Okay. So let's do this. We'll draw, and it's when you pull a pistol on someone ready to pull one back. Yeah, I know, right? Ryan, I'm just decisiveness. I'm super running out of steam on this. I think this might be our last move because I've been going for an hour now, and it's just I'm super wrecked at the start of this anyway. So I think this might be it. So when you pull a pistol on someone ready to pull one back, you then roll plus wild. On a success, if you they're dead. On a success with cost, choose one. You're not as fast as you thought. They win you. Take +1 harm. Actually, they're dead and choose one. Oh, no. This is the thing. This is the thing, right? On a success, choose one. Dead. Or they're injured, out, or and unable to fight back. Right where you want them. Yeah. So this is she's here, Ryan. You can't make fun of Lauren now. She's here. We can't. Oh man, once we get to the partner, I'm just gonna point out the Lauren move. I think the partner moves will probably be my next thing. And yeah, I will point out the Lauren move, and it's so good. It's so fucking good, y'all. It's like I can't wait to play it just to see her do it. It's basically calling people on their shit, and it's going to be so good. Okay, so do I want to give marks for killing someone? The answer is I'm not sure. My options are either to... I'm so glad you made it to one, Lauren. So here are my options. And this means a lot because this is going to be one of those decisions that says what the game's kind of, how players are going to interact with the core elements of the game. What does it cost you to shoot someone? What does it cost you to shoot someone? Is it when you draw, do you inherently get corruption? Do you inherently get a mark? There's a move that this is kind of based on, right? Which is from my dog's PBTA hack. Which basic moves. Okay. So the move is pull the trigger. So you'll notice that when you pull the trigger, you immediately have a cost. You first take 1 stress. Do we want to do that? Do we want to say when you pull the trigger, first mark corruption, then you roll. This, and then you can do what you want on an 8-10 on full success. You commit as much violence as you intend. They're as wounded as you need them to be. But on an 11 plus, you either kill them here without feeling much, or you kill them tomorrow with a lot of pain. Right? This is a very different move. It's not what I want. But do we want to implant this cost into it? So do we want to say when you pull a pistol on someone ready to pull one back, First, mark +1 corruption, then roll +wild. On a success, you choose one, and it's either they're dead or they're injured out and unable to fight back, which is right where you want them. They're right where. Let's just say they're right where you want them. They're right where you want them, but you're marked. But you're marked. And the question is, so marks are really interesting. That move, putting them where you want them, doesn't follow on to almost any of the marks. But the idea behind marks, they don't have to be immediate consequences. They're kind of like consequence loans, where you say, okay, I'm just going to like I'm going to pick a cost, but I'm going to defer that cost. And instead of saying, well, right now I'm going to get shot and it's going to be +1 harm, instead I'm going to take a mark, and later in this session I'm going to suffer the death of a friend or comrade. And they provide authority to the GM to create. Yeah, okay. Pat, you're hitting on another very important thing here about no roll. There is another way that we can do draw. Which is as a failure valve. So originally in Dogs and Darkness, there is a move called pull a piece to press the point. And what happens is in Dogs and the Vineyard, when you inquire upon someone and they refuse you, you roll, they roll back, and there's conflict. And then if you're losing, you escalate to violence. And that's what this move is replicating, that escalation to violence to seize initiative. So when you pull when you would roll a 7-, when you would fail, but instead pull a piece to press the point, you escalate. First, take 1 stress, then re-roll the previous move with +6 instead of spent, then feel the influence of demons. So what we're kind of looking at here, and what Pat's referring to, is taking a mark to wound them as much as you want. If you roll, you may end up killing them or not harming them at all. So what we can do is, and this totally depends on how resilient I want my NPCs to be as well. Do I want my PCs to just be able to walk through the town and just like eliminate problems, quote unquote? So it's like, okay, so let's think about what that move would look like if we were to do it that way. So we say, when you pull a pistol on someone ready to mark back, make a decision. Take a mark and wound them, putting them right where you want them. Or roll wild. On a success, you choose one. They're dead. But no. This is the thing. This is the thing is, you get what you wanted, but without a cost, because you've taken the. On a success, they're right where you want them. As wounded or dead as you need them to be. On a success with cost, choose one. They're not as fast as they thought, and they wing you. And they wing you before you kill them. +1 harm. They get away, maybe? Get away. They're definitely marked. You You wound them fatally. This is like the they'll bleed out over the course of a day. +1 corruption. And that is like a fairly that's meant to be to fill the same thing as this final bit in the dogs one. The wound is dirty and rough, they'll die tomorrow, a whole lot of pain. It's meant to be like it's meant to be like they can still influence the story for like a 24-hour period, but the get away in your mark does sound like a failure condition. You're not wrong there. Very good point. Well, I guess the question is, why are you drawing pistols on someone, right? And it's because you just want to enact violence. Okay. That's better. That's better. So what this does is it provides you a way to resolve this really quickly, or it provides you a way to roll and put on the line what you want without the cost. Is Lauren, you missed our whole thing about threats of violence and moves about threats of violence. It was very good. We had many a chat about the inherent need for or whatever for threats of violence and how that corrupts you as a character. It's going to be phenomenal. And that's the thing. That's the thing, Lauren, is this character that we're doing these moves for, the outlaw, begins inherently violent and steadily becomes less violent as the game goes on. The partner begins less violent and has the opportunity to open herself or their I say herself because I have Bonnie and Clyde in my head every time I think about this, but has the opportunity to open themselves up to violence more as they go. So the idea is, the whole idea behind corruption as an option for players to buy into is, I'm the outlaw, I'm big and tough, corruption. Oh wait, I'm actually vulnerable, and that vulnerability helps me interact with people, but also is dangerous in the Wild West. The partner, Bonnie, is like, oh, I'm vulnerable and wonderful, and I can empathize with people. Corruption. I'm shooting dudes in the face. The thing is, it's an option for players to do the corruption thing, which means we can have Bonnie characters who remain beautiful and innocent the whole way through. Innocent, she's still a fucking criminal. We can have Bonnie characters who don't engage with corruption. So okay. Boy, gender stuff, Lauren. This is something that I do need to go into a lot more, but it begins with the fact that this is genre emulation, and Bonnie and Clyde is the story that I'm emulating. The fact that Bonnie and Clyde are male, female, Bonnie is demure and is wrapped up in Clyde's whirlwind, and Clyde is toxic masculinity, is a very big part of this, and is something that I do want to talk about. And it's something I've spoken about in previous episodes with, like, especially like Clyde's sexual dysfunction and stuff like that. This game is inherently, in what I want to do, this game is not gendered. I don't want the partner to be female and the outlaw to be male. In fact, originally this was going to be about both being outlaws, and it was going to be like about super queerness, and it was going to be like amazingly queerbo to the start. But what I kind of thought of with Good Society is you provide the framework and you let people queer it up themselves. And that's what this is going to do. So you can be queer lady cowgirls that are in love with each other, and one of you is taking on the outlaw, and one of you is taking on the partner, or you can be queer cowboys, and one of you this, or you can be one on one, or you can be non-binary, so it can be anywhere on the spectrum, and it's kind of like when you decide in Good Society to remove the like history of gender roles from your game. That's basically what I'm doing here, where I'm like, this game doesn't change based on what gender presentation you play as, because it's not about where you fit into society in your gender. It's about your relationship together, and whether that relationship is a really traditional masculine violence, feminine patience, or whether it is an inverted, or whether it is both masculine or both feminine, is totally up to you, and totally up to the players. When I talk about Bonnie and Clyde, I'm only doing it from a here is a touchstone perspective. It's really got nothing to do with the fact that like Bonnie is specifically female and therefore the partner is specifically female. I am hoping to see some super queer pairings out of this. Okay, so let's just look over this draw thing right now, because I think the question is, and this is the big question that we need to get to the bottom of. I want to go back and have a look at what Pat said. No roll. Take a mark to win them as much as you want. If you roll, you may end up killing them on harming them. Okay, that's what this move at the moment is. Kind of what I got from Pat's suggestion. I'm not sure if it's right. But I so want to hear your thoughts. Yeah, please, Lauren. Let's. I'm gonna be done with this in about 10 minutes, and we can DM all the shit. It's gonna be so good. I hope they're good thoughts. I hope they're supportive thoughts and not, oh my god, Sid, you really need to like fix your shit. I hope, and if it is, I hope you're calling me on it, because boy, I do need you to do that. That's why we have the Lauren move. So draw. When you pull a pistol on someone ready to pull one back, make a decision. Okay, so what does this gain us that making it part of the success condition doesn't? It allows us to make these harsh, right? Okay, so here's the thing. The failure conditions, as we've stated them now, they're tough. On a success with cost, you're marked, and remember, marked is a way out of the character. Marked leads to, much like harm does, character removal, where you make the decision: I either turn myself in or we both die in a shootout. On a successive cost, you're marked and choose one. You're not as fast as you thought. They wing you before you kill them. You take +1 harm. Or they'll bleed out over the course of a day, +1 corruption. So harm is also a way out. Corruption is, I haven't decided whether I want corruption to be a character exit point yet or not. I need to take a look at that. So maybe it's like, but do I want them to? The problem with the take a mark and wound them is that, okay, I think I disagree, Lauren, with the core point there about the fact that I'm exploring femininity and masculinity. Like I'll have to talk to you about it, because I don't think I am, but I think it's coming across that way. Jumping into like this part of this stream, but I think I need to sort of chat to you about it and unpack it a bit. So on a success, so here's the question: as a designer, am I happy with the idea that take a mark and wound them, putting them right where you want them, is an option? Take a mark and wound them, putting them right where you want them. Hmm. How interesting. How interesting. Okay. This will just have to go to playtesting. I can't decide at the moment looking at this. I can't make a decision as to whether I want to avoid whether I just want to present a cost or whether I want to avoid the thing. Interesting. Is it less interesting than the die roll? That's like, so this is a core thing about RPGs. What is the function of die rolls? And the function of die rolls is to introduce another opinion into the game. The opinion of the dice. The player says, I think this happens. This person says this happens. But the dice say something else happens because we rolled a failure. So instead we have to go to the GM moves, right? That's the function of dice in PBTA games. When you pull a pistol on someone ready to pull one back, man, I don't know. The issue is that if I create marked, yeah, maybe I do that. Maybe this is the thing. This is the thing, right? We roll plus wild. Make so then roll plus wild, and we take a mark, and that's it. And that this one doesn't have a cost associated with it, but it might not be what you wanted. If it is what you wanted, you got a full success, and that's great. But to present a level of control, you take a mark, and this is just this trade-off here in the bottom, like of having this 8 to 10, 11 plus thing. And so all I've done is I've moved the cost from here, from first take 1 stress down to 8 to 10. You commit as much violence as you want. Anyway, that's way too long spent on that one move there. But that's really good. So what we have is we pretty much have the outlaw. So this is the outlaw. If we could play a game with an outlaw right now. I don't know if that truck sound is coming across. If it is, I'm really sorry. We could play this outlaw now. All they can do at the moment is eyeball, intimidate, and shoot people, but that's fine for now. We're going to move them to something else later, because that's where their corruption comes in. With their corruption, when they pick up corruption moves, they get things like Walk Away Tall. Walk Away Tall is a move I really, really like, and I almost could do now if I wasn't. What do you think? Should we do Walk Away Tall? No, I want to do corruption moves at a later date. I want to get together and do them as a big group. So basically, Walk Away Tall is how to if someone wants to shoot you, it's how you walk away from that without getting into the violence trap, and without losing your status in society, I guess, as a cowgirl. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this break now. My phone is over here, which has my calendar on it. Saturday. Let's go same time on Friday night in the US, Saturday night for me, I think. Unless I think I might have a game or something on then. But if not, we're going to go for 3-ish days from now. We'll do all of the partner moves. And then if we have time, we'll do some of the corruption moves. But until then, partner moves we got to do first. So partner moves and then team moves. Until then, it's going to be super good. I'm really glad that we got those down. I'm really glad that we now have a functional outlaw. And I'm really grateful to all the awesome ideas that came up in this chat because they're really fucking good, especially with those questions with the outlaw, the outlaw's upper hand pissing people off, that sort of thing. Like that's really hit what I want for that move, and I'm really grateful for your help. I will see you in 3 days if you want to be around. If not, thank you for your assistance and your company. I'm going to go get messages from Lauren about gender politics, and I'm super excited about that. But first, I'm going to go get a juice because my brain is falling out of my skull. It's been an absolute joy. Until that time, 3 days from now, where we hang out together, you out there, keep on giving a hoot. I love you.